Hi, welcome to Travis Holes Podcast. I am Ryan. I'm here with Lawrence and Michael, aka Spanky. Low technical difficulties in the beginning. StreamYard didn't want to play us. The spirits are trying to make us not talk tonight, but we're going to talk anyways. So, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us, Ryan.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you. So, they're down in Florida, the Florida Bureau of Investigation. How many are actually in your group?
We've got a crew of about 10 right now of really solid folks. One good thing about our team is that we all are of like mind and all just meld really well together. And we've got a pretty good group. Wouldn't you say, Spank?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Very. And I want to say our group is a little bit older too.
That's true.
Do you think that helps? I mean, it helps with the knowledge and the maturity. I guess I don't want to say maturity because I mean, be 30 mature, but like how you go about investigating.
I do think that because of our age, our minds are we've just experienced more, I guess. And I think that we're a little bit more open-minded than a lot of folks. I don't know if that's a good way to put it, but I just think we've experienced more, so we're open to understand there's more out there that we don't understand.
Right.
Make sense? What do you think?
No.
And we do have some younger people too, but I think with our group, the like-mindedness of everything, we're focused on finding facts and not as a hobby.
Right. So let's get in that. So why do you investigate the paranormal?
You want to go first, Spanky, or you want me to?
You can go ahead.
Well, I'm a retired cop. Most of my career was either spent in criminal investigations or training. And investigative-wise, this is one of the greatest mysteries of all mankind, isn't it? And had some things happen to me over the years that have made me want to unravel this mystery. And that's why I do it. I'm truly looking for the answers to what it is that we're experiencing.
And for me, it didn't start till what? I was probably in my 30s or 40s that I even started thinking about the paranormal. How I started was dinner and a ghost hunt that Larry was putting on, and my wife dragged me there and walked in the door, and it was like, Larry, and he was like, Spanky.
But we got to tell everybody how we knew each other.
We knew each other. We both were instructors or worked at the local college. He was on the police side. I was on the fire side. And we knew each other from there. And then when we seen each other later on now, that night changed me. He put me with a good group. I started with some dowsing rods that I did not believe in at all. And the girl that was instructing me had told me I was a natural at it. We were getting answers all night long. And I kind of got hooked. And next thing you know, a few months later, I was on the team. So.
But did you have one thing that happened that night that really sent you over? Because it was funny because, he walks in. It's like, Larry, you doing this? And I said, Spanky, what are you doing here? And he was really a skeptic. Got him, I think it was Sherry's group, wasn't it, you were in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Robertsons.
Yeah.
And what changed for me was a couple things. We were at this small library in Fellsmere, and during the dowsing rods, we were just getting all kinds of answers to the questions. And then we went to this old school. And while in the school, we were in more or less a fear cage. And the lady standing next to me got scratched. And I know she was right next to me. Nobody touched her. And she got scratched, and we went outside, and sure enough, she had scratch marks on her leg. And I was like, there's something to this. I need to know.
Yeah, that was at the North Forest town in the northwest corner of Indian River County. It's one of the more unknown places in Florida, and it's one of the most haunted. And so I used to do presentations out there. That's where Spanky and I met. And it's the Florida Bureau of Paranormal Investigation. We actually got that going in 2010. Spanky's been with us, criminy. It's not 2011. You've been with us since 2017, 2016.
About 17, I came on.
Okay, that's a good amount of years there, because I mean, a lot of groups, they just created groups 2 or 3 years ago. Like me, I've been investigating for 19 years, but my group's only a year and a half, 2 years old. So I mean, yeah, I got the experience, so-called experience, whatever you want to call it. But my group is still relatively new. A lot of groups are like that. To have a group from 2010, and you're talking 16 years, that's like veteran status in paranormal groups.
Yeah, we've been actively investigating since 2010, 2011 in that area. I've been investigating since 2008 myself, but we created the group in like I said, around 2010, late 2010 or late 2011, and we've changed like everybody else. You get people that come and go. Life
Right.
gets in the way. But our group now, Spanky, I think most of us have been together now. It's
Probably
it's
6 to 8 years.
6 to 8 years, yeah, for a lot of us. And we got a tight group, and I hate to tell everybody this. I just hate to admit it, but I got the best team out there. It's just the way it is. I got to tell you. And we get along so well. And that's one of the great things that we really work on when we do bring somebody new. They've got to be able to meld with us. There's
Right.
there's no superstars on here. We're all working together for the same goal.
I mean, my group's a little different, I guess. I mean, I got the best group out there because, it's me.
Oh, okay. You got second best.
I mean, I have other members. They, like you said, life gets in the way. You got kids, you got jobs, you got family. Then you get around my age where you're taking care of your parents. So, I mean, life gets in the way. So pretty much my group is me. Then I invite some people. If they can make it, they can make it. It's not a big deal. But luckily, doing this podcast, I meet a lot of great people, and they invite me places. So I can still go investigate. And that's what I love about doing a podcast, is because I get to meet other people, go out with them, and learn. Because I think Spanky said the question is what keeps driving us.
Yeah. And I think there's some groups out there that I call them, and this sounds derogatory, but it's not meant to, paranormal thrill seekers. And these are guys and gals that like to go out on the weekends, hear the bump in the night, get the EVP, and they go on with the rest of their lives after that. And it's not something where they collect the evidence, they try to analyze it. And that's cool. Why do people jump out of perfectly good airplanes, for a thrill? I wouldn't do it, but people do it for fun. And people do this, I think, for fun also. Our group tends to take it a lot more, not that others don't take it seriously, but we are truly in it to find answers.
Right. I mean, with these thrill seekers, and I had Adam Kimmel on here earlier, and he said some stuff about it, is that, those thrill seekers can go out on a weekend, get a couple EVPs. Then you have people like us that go out all the time, but that thrill seeker might actually get the answer.
Yeah.
That we're looking for. So
Maybe.
every group is important.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. There's nothing wrong with being a thrill seeker at all. Except maybe, when it comes to their evidence, if they get something, will it be something that the rest of us can look at and compare with what we have to maybe solidify the answer? That would be my only kick with that. But there's certainly nothing wrong with that. And I encourage that.
Yeah. I mean, we'll talk about too, TV shows, YouTube shows not popping up, and everybody laughs at it. But again, that drove people to investigate.
Yeah.
Like you got your Zach Bagans, who's loony as shit, for whatever reason, possessed and crazy, and no one really takes him serious. But he could have drove us to start investigating, which we could have found the answer. So in the long run, we're all important. Even the entertainers are important in this field. And that's what people got to look at. People want to make fun of these TV shows. But why'd you start investigating? Because I watched a TV show. Okay.
Oh, agreed. That's how it started. And that's what put it in the forefront. It made it acceptable socially. I mean, in my business, man, you saw, something, a full-bodied apparition, and you talked about it out loud and openly. Your boss would send you for a, fit for duty psych eval. Nowadays, agencies talk about it regularly. I love mentioning, and I think I've told you about it, Spanky, Honolulu PD. They did an entire YouTube series of paranormal experiences their officers had on duty in their station houses, on the road, all kinds of things, and they put it out there. And 20 years ago, you wouldn't have seen that. So it has helped bring it to the forefront.
Let's talk. Spanky's a firefighter.
Yep.
You're a cop. So as a cop, you've probably seen stuff that you couldn't explain, and that probably had a, issue with you because, proof beyond reasonable doubt. That's what you're all about.
That's right.
Then when you don't have it, it probably drove you crazy a little bit.
And Spanky's had the same thing.
Yes.
Of course. Yeah. I was going to tell an armchair joke, Spanky, but I won't. Don't worry. But you know how you can tell when a firefighter has died, don't you, Ryan? When the game control falls off out of his hand while he's sitting on the easy chair.
It's okay.
I had to get the first one in, Spanky. I had to get the first one.
That's okay.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
I believe the background of being a firefighter, and a lot of people don't know how much we need to know about building construction and all the things of cars and woods fires and things of that nature. I'm able to debunk a lot of things that are happening at some of these places, especially in attic spaces and things of that, and wiring and things of that nature.
No,
he's been great at it. Yeah, he's been great at that too.
That's what you said. Your group is, wide, vast, but all like-minded.
Mm-hmm.
But, Spanky knowing, the structure of the building, you can probably look at, floor joist and saying, okay, well, that's not right. So that's probably why it's creaking.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So, I mean, it all comes together, with 10 of you or whoever's going out, that you guys can come, okay, this is paranormal. This is BS. This is just wood or wiring or whatever you want to call it. That's what's causing it. So, no, that's great. So,
for instance, we had a situation where some of the electronic monitors were going off on the floor. Well, come to find out, that's where the power source was. It was ran under the floor, not in the walls. And we were able to debunk everything there.
Yeah, his knowledge of construction has been huge in an investigation, because it really allows us to then concentrate on the stuff we can't explain, and we don't have to worry about those other little things, because his knowledge has solved that, debunked those issues, and it's been a huge help.
And then there's times where we have no idea. We'll just go, okay, that was real. Don't know what it is, how it happened, what they said, but that was real.
How about that time at the house in Fort Pierce when we were using the portal and we heard the gunshots?
Yes.
Now, we've been running a portal. This old house built in Florida. When you talk about a house built pre-1900, you're talking ancient in Florida, because we're a new state. And we were in this house and we had the portal going. Spanky had some particularly crazy things happen. But suddenly with the portal going, we start hearing a pop, 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 boom, pop, 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 pop. What, 3 or 4 minutes, Spanky? It went on? At
least.
And one thing I could tell, I know what a gunshot sounds like. And this was a gunfight we heard. And it went on for like 3 minutes, and then it stopped. Dead. Poor choice of words, but you get the point. It just completely stopped. And we could not, for the life of us, there was no logical explanation for it at all. Did some research in the area. We can't find anything that would have caused it. Now, we did have the Seminole Wars back in the mid to late 1800s that occurred in that area. Was that residual from that? We don't know, but it was a pretty fascinating event. But we could not figure that out. Even with Spanky's background, we couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole thing, though. It's like you guys said, you guys take everything into consideration. It could be the floor joists, could be the wiring, could be this, could be that. And once you push all that aside, then what do you have? You know,
Yeah.
the unknown. Is it the paranormal? I don't know. I mean, I'm not skeptic, but I like throwing everything out there first. And when you have the unknown done, the paranormal, then the issue is, can you prove it?
Well, do we really know, Ryan? Question for you. Do we really know, without question, what a ghost is, as we call it? Do we really know what that is?
I mean, there's some on Facebook that know everything.
That's the problem. No, there are no experts. There's nobody out there that is yet.
Oh, you can't say that. There's so many experts out there. You're just not looking.
Sorry. Sorry. In my opinion, in my uneducated opinion, nobody knows the complete answer yet. And once we start realizing that, and we start working together to try and find that answer, we're going to get further.
Right. Not exactly. I mean, I put that out there the other day on Facebook. The only thing we know in the paranormal field is that we don't know.
Well said.
Yeah.
And I got a kickback on it. Well, I know. Well, okay, well, let me know what you know.
Yeah.
The only thing I know is you're full of shit. I mean, sorry to be blunt, but
don't hold back, Ryan. Tell us how you really feel.
That's it.
Yeah, but that's a huge problem. We've got to realize, like you said, we the only thing we know is what we don't know, and nobody knows the real answer yet. Now, I have my personal opinions, but you hit it right on the head. I'm a cop. I have to have tangible evidence that I can take to court and prove to a jury beyond a reasonable doubt that this person committed the crime. We can't do that yet. Yes, I think I know what it is, but could it be a dimensional issue? Could it be the power of our own minds? Yeah. And that's something that few people have really started examining yet. You know, Spanky, he is terrific, unbelievable with the dowsing rods. And I say that because he'll get answers that are then corroborated through history, other pieces of equipment, other methods. So I know his stuff's accurate. But do we know for sure, is it the other side speaking to Spanky? Or is it the power of his own brain, his own energy that's doing it? We don't know for sure.
No, we don't. I mean, and that was the main thing for me posting that. I'm sick of people saying, I know. How about I believe or I think? Mm-hmm. Those are better choice of words because we don't know. And, you know, I believe this is an EVP. And I never call it, I do call it evidence, but I like to call it interesting.
Okay.
Listen to this. It's interesting. It's not evidence.
Right.
Like if I put that in front of a jury, are all of them going to say that's evidence? No. Everybody's going to hear something different. That's what EVPs are. So, yeah, like you said, when we start opening our mind up and realize that we don't know, we'll get farther in this field.
And we've all got to come together in order to understand that and come together to work for the greater good. There's too many folks out there. Well, this is my evidence, or this is my my venue, and I do this right, and nobody else does it right. We got to get away from that, and we've got to all understand that we're all in the same boat. We've got to pull together. We've got to work together if we're going to get anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, the issue is we're humans. You know, in human nature, we want to be the one.
Yeah.
And that's just human nature. Yeah,
alpha, like you policeman.
Oh, okay. It did take a while, but you finally got to come back there. That's good. That's good.
Shots fired. It's all good.
No. But I did want to bring up a situation where we had really good collaboration between equipment. We were doing a dowsing rod session, and we brought out the SLS camera. At the same time, we were doing an Estes method with someone in another room. And as we were asking the questions, we had a stick figure actually grabbing the rods and answering yes and no. And the person that was on the headphones was saying the same answer. All
That's
at the
cool.
same time.
That's
Where was
cool.
this thing? Where was this at?
That
Spank?
was the one in Sebastian there. We're in Sebastian, the little place with the 2-story. You weren't there, I don't think. You were in the other room.
Okay. Well, I mean, was it the Beyond Useless Boutique?
Yeah.
Okay.
It used to be an ice cream shop or something. Or a coffee shop. The coffee shop.
Oh, okay. Yes, the coffee shop. That was actually in District Sebastian. Yeah. I know exactly. Okay.
And we had all three collaborating. And Larry, why don't you bring up our other special person we bring in?
Christopher Huff. Now, Ryan, as a cop, I know you'll appreciate this. A medium was a very tough thing for me to embrace, people that with that ability. I mean, working a homicide, I would get mediums calling, or another kind of case, mediums would call and say this and anything. Nothing ever panned out. Had a very negative view. Two things changed that opened my eyes. And one of them was this gentleman named Chris Huff. He lives in England. Got to know him from. I do a podcast, and I found out that he was an expert, or not an expert, but he was very learned in investigating haunted Royal Air Force airfields from World War II in Great Britain, in particularly Bomber Command. I thought that was pretty cool because my dad, an American, actually was in England and served with the RAF in Bomber Command. So we had a thing that connected real quick, and we've become friends. I've actually investigated with him in England, and the man's amazing. And we now bring him on many of our investigations via the internet. I know, everybody, that sounds crazy, but how he describes it is it's all ethereal. It's all out there, whether I'm next to you or I'm not. He says it's better when he's there, but he can certainly do it over, and he does. Some of the things, Ryan, that this man has verified or given to us that we've been able to verify is mind-boggling through the internet. You know, we turn the camera on him. I've got earphones on, so only I can hear him. Nobody else can hear what he's saying, but he'll say stuff and it'll be corroborated through other pieces of equipment. Amazing. So Chris Huff's his name. I've
heard of his name before.
Well, there's a Steve Huff. This is not.
Okay.
That's no relation at all. Chris Huff's in England, and he's a pretty humble guy. He doesn't like getting his name out there a whole lot. I'm trying to change that because the world needs to really understand what he can do. But yeah, so thanks, Spanky, for bringing that up. Chris is a pretty amazing guy. Some of the stuff that he's given us has been really outstanding that we've been able to corroborate historically.
So you talked about England and UK and all that. I actually went over to the UK earlier this year and did investigations. I was at the 306 Bombardment Group Museum over in UK. I did investigation.
What airfield was that? Was it
Thurley?
Okay.
Thurley Airfield. It was where the bombers left from.
Well, there was several. There was Polbrook, there was Thorpe Abbott's, and Thurley was one of them. 366 bomb group. Okay.
306th.
So 306th. Okay.
Yeah, I guess they were the first bombers to bomb Germany from that airfield.
From that airfield. Okay.
Yeah. So I actually got to go over there and investigate with some other UK groups, and it was interesting because I like to sit back and watch. Because I like to learn how people watch, and UK people investigate totally different than American. They're more polite, you know. They're like, "Oh, that's proper," you know, that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But they were investigating. They were getting some stuff, and they're like, "Why don't you start talking?" And because of my accent, I guess I have an accent. Stuff went crazy after that. Like, we started getting answers left and right when I started asking all the questions, because that's where the Americans were.
You're a Yankee. You're a Yank. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was pretty interesting to me how we're getting some stuff, but as soon as I start talking, like equipment was going off. We did dual Estes session there. I mean, it was nonstop, and we got a lot of cool answers there. So, I mean, interesting.
Yeah, we were when I was over there with Chris, my older son Ryan was with us, and we were at RAF Elvington, which was a combined Free French and Canadian Air Force bomber command base. But there was a fighter museum there that was dedicated to the 609 squadron, a Spitfire squadron that defended that area of England during the Blitz. And we had I believe it was a spirit box going, and you hear that thing going. And Chris asks a question: "Is there anybody here with us?" And you hear Fury. What's your rank? Sergeant. Cool. We thought it was pretty, and it couldn't have been fake because it was coming through the spirit box. It's nothing that he had taped and heard us. I get back about a week later, and Chris sends me a photograph of a tombstone. Sergeant Alan Fury, 609 Squadron, died October 1940. How do you explain that?
You can't.
Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. I love telling that story. Sorry.
No, I mean, it collaborates. I mean, that's the issue with paranormal right now. The thrill seekers, if they get evidence, they didn't want to collaborate it, and you did. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, compare it, and that's the whole key. And Spanky, I don't know how you feel. I know how you feel about it, but if you want to chime in, getting that evidence and then corroborating it with historical fact. Wow. And Belinda is what comes to mind there, Spanky.
Yes.
Yes. That's what makes it really, really.
Yeah, we had one investigation where, oh Lordy, that must have went 6, 7, 8 hours, and it was a little girl, and she was suffering, and it was a tragic story, but we ended up finding out that she was buried not too far from where we were at by relatives that had came down from New Jersey to the area, and it was pretty interesting.
Well, what the best part about it was when we got the girl's name, we didn't know who she was. Yeah, we just got a couple names, but Chris was telling us the spirit box is going off, the rods were working. We got all of this stuff. And my daughter, who's also a cop, she was a police officer in that town, actually is the one that got us into this building, actually went to the cemetery just trying to find some information. And the superintendent of the cemetery said, "Oh, I just had a group down here that said they had a young relative. And her name was Belinda, and she died in 1939 when we were told." It was just amazing. But the point is, we just got stuff during the investigation, and suddenly we had a gravesite. Just amazing stuff. And Chris is a big part of that too.
Yeah. And then how about the tree with Chris?
The Devil's Tree.
The Devil's Tree here in Florida.
Yeah. That's a tree back in the 1970s when the city of Port St. Lucie, which is a large city, I think it's like the 4th largest city in the state now, isn't it, Spanky?
Close to
big.
It, if not.
It's pretty big town. Well, anyway, back then there was nothing there, and there was a guy named Gerard Schaefer. He was a Martin County deputy sheriff, which is the county south of us, and he was a serial killer, and he had been killing young ladies for a long time. Bottom line is he got caught, but one place where he took some of his victims was this old oak tree back in the back part of Port St. Lucie where nobody went. Now it's a park because the place has grown so much. And a lot of things had happened there over the years. I don't want to bore everybody with too much of the story, but, cops would go back there, check on things. They'd find and see things that were crazy. As time went on and the stories came out, they actually found bones from Schaefer's victims back there later on. And the stories have been going rampant there. Some of them have blown out of proportion. It isn't really what happened. We've done 2 investigations there now, Spank?
Yes.
And we had Chris with us, and I'll let you tell the story of the stuff that Chris found if you want.
You're going to have to go with it because they're starting to all run together unless I look them up.
Well, he was actually, and once again, when Chris comes on with us, we don't tell him where we're at. any history. We don't tell him anything. He goes in absolutely cold. That's the way we prefer to do it. And he starts talking about it was a horrible place. Bad things had happened there. There were shallow graves. And he sees this guy poking out behind the big oak tree, which is called the tree. And he stops. He says, was this man a policeman? Was he a police officer? And sure as heck he was. And right about that time, some of our EMF equipment started going off. It was a pretty amazing event, because when he can tell us things that he shouldn't know, wouldn't even have known to Google it because he didn't know where we were at. And he was absolutely spot on.
And then also in that same area was a couple of abandoned properties where you could see the stem walls from the building.
Yeah.
And I was using dowsing rods, and it directed me towards one of them. And as I went up the steps, I got to talking to somebody, I don't know who it was, with dowsing rods. And then Larry brought Chris in, and Chris told him, yeah, there's a gentleman standing right in front of Spanky. And he's wearing this, this, and this. And I mean, I was like, how does he know? How does he know?
Because he didn't know you were talking to anybody or you were communicating. So yeah, that was important. But so yeah, we've had a lot of luck with that. It's very unorthodox for especially a cop, I think, to be using that as part of a repertoire, but it sure as heck works.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people out there know my feelings on psychic mediums. I work with some. I have very good friends that are some.
Mm-hmm.
Do I believe majority are fake? Yes. Now,
I'd say a good portion are.
I can't say that they're fake. I really believe they are.
Good point. I agree with that.
So, I mean, you cannot say you're full of S, because they actually believe they are. And you talked about something earlier, is that our mind's making it up. It is possible that our imagination can create psychic medium abilities.
Oh, I think that's a huge part of it. But then the question is, if the information they can give you is substantiated by historical fact.
Yeah, I mean, there's a difference. Yeah, I mean, it's what Chris is doing is different than someone walking by a room and say, "There's a little girl over there."
Obviously,
her name is Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sweet. Can you back that up? No, you can't.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you read historical records and knew there was a Sarah somewhere in this building.
Mm-hmm.
But, my whole thing is I'm actually doing a paranormal debate. I started paranormal debate. I did haunted dolls and objects earlier. Now I'm doing psychic mediums next. I didn't know how that was going to take off, because it's hard. My mind works in different ways. I'm not trying to rip psychic mediums. I just want to know what we're doing in this paranormal field, or why we're going this direction. I have my theories. I'm going to say that for the debate. But, when you're a kid, how many times were you scared because there's a monster under your bed, or there's a monster in your closet?
Mm-hmm.
In 100% guaranteed, you thought there was a monster in your closet. You weren't able to move until you called mom or dad up and they checked your closet. Now, was there a monster in your closet? It could have been. But I think your imagination takes more.
Well,
I mean, does that make sense to you?
Absolutely. And then there's people out there, I think you're right. There are charlatans that are trying to just take money or look for fame. There are people that want it bad enough. They think they've got it, but you're right. Their imagination does come into play. And I'm going to even agree with you at this point. I think that's the majority. And I think the majority are people that aren't bad folks. They just believe it.
Right.
But then you've got that section that you just can't explain how they put that out. Now, the problem with psychics is if you can't back it up with historical fact, then how can you prove what they're saying? And you talk to them, they say, well, this is what I see. It is what it is. And they may or may not be right. I don't know. But we've got to somehow find a bridge to connect what they're seeing with the facts of the investigation or the historical facts. And
Right.
in historical research is probably the best way to do that in most cases. But until somebody comes up with a piece of equipment that we could just plug into the side of their ear, it's going to be tough.
I mean, the only way to prove that someone's fake or not fake is them actually coming out saying I was BS the whole time. You know, that's the only way it's going to happen. People know why I investigate. I've told this many times. I am not trying to find proof of the afterlife. I will find that out. That's guaranteed. All right. So I wrote a blog about Never Forget. It was about my grandfather.
Mhm.
All right. The reason I investigate is to keep stories straight and memories alive. Because I'm a big believer the only thing worse than dying is being forgotten. And that's why I'm trying not to let happen to these spirits, to be forgotten. That's why I investigate.
Okay.
So when psychic mediums go in, I'm not saying all, and make up stories, that bothers me. Because they want credential or they want fame. That really bothers me. When they're saying Frank is in this corner, like you're just making crap up. So you're, TikTok sensation. It doesn't sit well with me.
And it shouldn't.
Ryan, I have a question for you.
Uh-oh. Reverse podcast. I love it. Let's go.
Well, I've talked to a lot of people about this. We talk about these trapped souls, spirits, ghosts, and
That was a good plug there, Spank. Good job.
but and Larry knows this. Probably about 5 or 6 times now, when we're having a good conversation with a ghost box or whatever, I ask the question, are you able to leave here and go to heaven and come back? And what do you think the answer was most of the time?
Yes.
You're right. That's what I've gotten every time.
All right. So Trap Souls. I'll throw this out there again. This was a name I just came up with because my original group name was Nuclear Soul Seekers because I work in the nuclear field. That sounded like a stupid podcast name. So we used to investigate like Trans Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, Mansfield Seminary, prisons, and I believed at that time some were trapped for what they have done. Have my beliefs changed that? Yes. I believe a lot of people want to be there. I believe they can go back and forth. I believe spirits, you talk about attachments, can follow you if they want to. But I also do believe there is a small percentage that they're there because they did bad. And that is their punishment. But it's a very small percentage. But like you said, can you come back and forth? Yes. I mean, that's, if you want to talk guardian angels, they can.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Larry, he wants to talk about attachments. You want to talk to him about New York with me? When we ended up at the Hinsdale house,
right?
it was attached, and we were able to get rid of it there.
Wow, Hinsdale.
Oh yeah, Hinsdale. We spent some time.
That's not where I got the attachment.
Go ahead and tell the story, Spanky.
What was the correct name of the hotel?
The Shanley, not the Stanley, but the Shanley Hotel. That's where we were at.
In
New York?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been there.
And Larry and I did a couple of rooms by ourselves. Mm-hmm. And it was with the ladies of the night.
Mm-hmm. We didn't hire them. They were there in spirit. Okay. Just want
to. I mean, it's your story. Stick with it.
Spirits. My wife was there.
Okay.
Spirits were there. And there was, for any better word, the pimp of back in the early years. Somehow he attached to me. And when we went from there to the other places we went, it got bad. I was moody. I was yelling, cranky. Not myself. I was yelling at people. I had a headache the whole time. And we got rid of it there at the Hinsdale house. because we were down in the basement of that place. And that was the first and only time that had ever happened to me.
How were you able to get rid of it, Spank?
I just praying and telling it to leave me now. You're not, you cannot leave with me.
And because I do remember your whole persona had changed, and just before we left, you seemed to be almost back to normal. But I thought you pretty much did that on your own.
Yeah. While we were there.
Yeah.
I didn't want him coming back to Florida with me.
No. I mean, that's because he's a pimp and your name is Spanky, so he thought he can make some money off you. So.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Let me go back to that too. My nickname is from back when I started the fire department in '83. 3 mics got hired. When the captain yelled Mike, we'd all go, "Yes, sir." I got nicknamed because I was 18 years old and looked like the young Spanky from the Little Rascals. and I've had it ever since 1983. I've been Spanky.
Yeah.
So, but the funny thing is, it's such a funny name. We hear it all the time on our portals.
Portals, yeah, spirit boxes.
Even heard it EVP once or twice. You know, they like making fun of me.
And I think it's a good time to bring this up because we keep talking about the mental aspect of all of this. I think it's important folks know that with our group, we are willing to go where the evidence goes. Like take Spanky's name coming up on the portal all the time. Could it be possible that just because it's in our mind, somehow it's being transmitted? I'm just tossing it out there, not necessarily believing it's true or not. But if that's where the evidence takes us, if through all of our work, we end up finding that most of what occurs is the result of the power of our own brain, the untapped power of our own brains, we're willing to accept that. And I think that's one of the things that makes us different than most. We're looking for the answers, and wherever the evidence takes us is where we go. And if it doesn't go where we want it to, well, too bad, so sad. That's where the evidence taken us. Would you agree with that description, Spank? Yeah. And I think that's really what makes us different than a lot of groups too. We realize there's other possibilities out there.
So what are spirits?
It's, energy can either be destroyed or created. I don't know. I don't know what they are. I personally, based on some of my personal experience, do think there's a place where we go after we die, but I'm open to other options as to what it is. I heard one person say, and I thought this is pretty insightful, when you die, your soul goes to heaven, but your spirit or your energy is what stays behind. Could that be it? Haven't you heard the arguments on whether or not a residual haunt is actually a ghost? Or is it just trapped energy that's playing itself over again? So would it really be a ghost? I don't know if you've ever heard those arguments.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that. Sometimes people's spirits go up to heaven, but their energy still. I mean, that's where you get the stone tape theory.
Exactly.
I mean, I do believe in residual.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you go to Gettysburg. I think there's a lot of residual energy there because so much energy was spilled, blood there. People see spirits, soldiers walking in the field. I don't think they even know they're there. That's just their energy. That's just a tape playing of what happened.
So is that actually a ghost as we like to describe it then?
No, it's just energy.
Okay. And I think that's one of the other arguments that we have in our field that we've never come to consensus on. Orbs. One of my favorite subjects.
Orbs are foolish.
I agree with you.
Why do you gotta bring up orbs? I've gotten like 3 episodes without orbs being brought up.
Well, now I broke it, didn't I? Because orbs 95. I'm going to say I'm never going to say 100% of the time because I've learned in my old age that you never say never. But I'm going to say 95 to 97% of orbs are dust, bugs, or moisture.
I go 99.9.
Okay, I'll give you that. But there are some people that feel exactly. There's people on our own team, Jill, if you're listening, and she'll be laughing about that. That are very adamant that that's energy. But going around circle to where we were before, we got to start coming to some kind of consensus on this. Doesn't mean you have to not believe it or definitely believe it, but we got to come down to consensus that's willing to be acceptable to the vast majority of us. And I think you always got to leave, for example, if you see an orb yourself, if you visually see an orb, I think that has a lot more credibility than when you see in a photograph or a film.
Right.
Okay.
No, I mean, you're right, though. I mean, orbs, I mean, I've seen people put orbs out there saying, oh, it's an orb, it's energy. I see the wings flapping. You zoom in, you can see the wings flapping. No, that's a bug. But I'm not going to say that not all orbs are not energy, because I believe there are, because energy is energy. Energy doesn't die. So it is possible. The thing with orbs is there's way too many other factors that it could be.
Agreed.
Yes.
So, I mean, I'm a little different. Orbs, mediums, a lot of stuff out there. I believe they're real, but I believe majority you got to discredit. But we can't discredit everything, or we're going to get nowhere. Like you said, orbs, everything, evidence. There's people out there that just want, say everything is evidence or everything is discredited. Like, where do we have to have a line saying, okay, now that was a bug. Okay, that's an orb. That's pretty cool. Like, if we discredit every single orb, are we really getting closer to the answer?
No, but have we also come up with yet, and I do not know the answer to this, so if anybody out there goes crazy hearing this, I don't know that we're ever going to be able to do this. Same thing with psychics. There's got to be a way we can create a method, a piece of equipment that can prove or disprove some of this stuff, or at least link it. And we've got to get some minds that are much, much brighter than mine will ever be, to maybe start coming up with methodologies or even equipment that can test some of this. How can we, when we get a picture of an orb, how can we determine what it is exactly? Obviously, if it's got wings or something, or, that's different. But
Larry, I also see in today's age, with all the AI going on, it's going to get even more difficult to debunk pictures, videos, and things of that nature.
Yeah, AI. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think that goes both ways, though. I think AI is going to help, but I think, like you said, it's going to be harder. I think it'll hurt worse than it'll help, but it will help in the long run.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know that I'm with you on that one, because I don't trust people. It's the old cop in me coming out. There's too many people out there that want to use it to their own benefit, to skew the charts, if you will, that'll help themselves or hurt other people. And so I think, and maybe I just don't know enough about AI yet, but I just think AI has done so much to hurt the field right now.
It will. I mean, there's going to be a small percentage, and like anything in life, it's going to take a hurting before it gets better. Right. And that's the way life is. I mean, that's everything is. But you talked about one thing, Larry, is we need a piece of equipment. I told you before the show I don't like talking, but you got me going. So here we go. So you need one piece of equipment to help us solve the answers. We have that. It's us. Okay.
You can't quantify it, though, is the problem.
20 years. We're going 15 years ago. How many paranormal investigators were there that were serious?
Not a whole lot.
All right. So who are we talking to right now in the spirit world? 20 years from now, you have thousands, millions of paranormal investigators that are going to know how, that have passed on, that are going to know how to communicate with the living. I think right now we're the best equipment, because we're trying to learn now. Then when we pass on, we will know how to communicate and what the new generation of paranormal investigators are looking for.
I agree, but until we get to the point where we actually start sharing and collaborating with each other, and not being a bunch of one-man shows or person shows. Sorry.
No. What are you saying?
Until we get, I know, until we get to the point where we start collaborating. I'm a big believer in structure and standards in the field.
Yeah.
That is like cops. You know, you were a cop, you went to the academy, you know, and one of the things I like to say is if you have a homicide up in Perry, Ohio, and we have a homicide down in Vero Beach, there are some differences in state law and some procedures, and certainly interrogation or interview techniques of the investigator, all different stuff. But you still will investigate a homicide in Perry generally the same way we would investigate it here in Vero Beach. Because we have standards, we have structure that we've all learned. Until we can get to that point in our community so that we're all pretty much writing on the same page, we're not going to be able to collaborate on this evidence the way we need to come up with the answers. So the problem, I agree with what you're saying with the experience and passing it down, but we got to stop with the ego and start sharing and collaborating a whole lot more. And there's people out there that want to do it. It certainly isn't everybody. But that's just my opinion for whatever it's worth.
But history as it goes, we're selfish.
Yeah.
I mean, that's never going to happen. The only thing that can happen is people like us who want to collaborate and want to share. There's going to be a small percentage, and that's what percentage that matters. Yeah. But like I said before, all the 100% matters because it all drives something different.
Mm-hmm.
So even the people mention Sam and Colby all the time, right? They're famous. They're out there. They're entertainers. They like to investigate, but they're entertainers. But do they drive other people to investigate? Yes. So those young kids that are investigating because of Sam and Colby could be the answer. We don't know.
Well, and that's I totally agree with that. Lord knows things just pop up there. What do you think, Spanky?
What he was just talking about, I can collaborate with my grandkids. They watch them.
Mm-hmm.
Now they want to investigate. And one of them, and my one granddaughter did come with us, and she did pretty good with Larry. We were at a house, and her being there brought out things that probably wouldn't have came out with just us adults there.
Right.
So it was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But she's 13 years old.
Okay.
So
I mean, Spanky, I mean, you're close to your grandkids. So I mean, when you pass on and you come down and talk to your grandkids saying, this is what I found out. That's what I'm saying. As we pass on the new generation, we know how to communicate better.
Right.
You're talking from the other side.
You're talking from the other side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I see where you're coming from.
A full circle.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes more sense. Let's hope that's the case.
Yeah.
Because I want to absolutely haunt the hell out of my brother Tom. So I'm kind of hoping that happens.
Oh, we all have a list. Come on, we know.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into a couple things. I mean, Spanky, dowsing rods. So I mean, I love dowsing rods. That's how I started too.
Okay.
But the issue is I only trust myself doing dowsing rods.
Yes.
Because when you put human interference into something, it's hard to trust someone else.
Okay.
I mean,
and with that being said, when I'm trying to teach somebody else to use them, the first thing I tell them, you got to be true to yourself. If you're using them and your hands are twitching or you move it, you got to say, I moved it. Not that the spirits did it. And you can see me on video where I said, no, that was me. That wasn't the answer. That was me. Let me reset. And I'll reset and start over. The biggest thing is being true to yourself. Now, to believe others, there's times where I've watched and I can tell when somebody's tilting a hand one way or another and go, nope, no, it's hard for me to trust you. Just like a medium, like we were talking about.
Right.
But then there's some I believe them when they're using them.
Right.
I'm real comfortable with them. And the funniest thing is, we were doing a place in Vero Beach, old house, pineapple plantation, and we're out in the yard, and we're walking towards the back of the property, and one of the ladies was using the rods, and they kept crossing, and then they'd open up and cross, open up. So we turned around, and I walked over to the caretaker, and I said, "You got a sprinkler system?" He goes, "Yeah, it runs right there." He was getting the sprinkler system. We knew exactly where it was. And then later on in the night, we were talking to them, spirits up in the attic area, and the rods were working real well and the portal and everything else. And we had a good session up there, and we got information that we were able to go back and ask the caretaker questions who had the lady's diary.
Yes.
And the answers we got were actually in the diary. We wouldn't have known. There was no way of us knowing.
Wow.
And they were actually in the diary.
Yeah,
Which was, I mean, how do you explain it?
You can't. I mean, I think dowsing rods are a great tool. But again, you got to.
That's a good start. That for me, it's a starting point to get the communication going with the other side. That's what I use it for.
Okay.
And he does a fantastic job with them.
Yeah, and there's certain people. I had one friend that used them at Trans-Allegheny. I'll tell the story real quick. We were in the bathroom. Some dude got stabbed there 40 times because he was called the F word, in the field. So the guy went over and stabbed the guy that called him the F word. So my buddy, who never used dowsing rods before, was in the bathroom holding them, and my daughter was there, and we're like, "Do you like girls?" And point to the girl, and it moved over. The left one moved over real slow toward him, and I'm like, sorry, I'm sick. You can do better than that. The one on the right flipped over, and dowsing rods, you can't just stop them.
Mm-hmm.
Swung fast as it could and just stopped right at my daughter. He dropped them. That was 2 years ago. And I'll still ask him, "You do dowsing rods?" He's like, "Hell no. We'll never touch them again."
I got a question for you, Ryan. Do you just use your dowsing rods for yes, no answers mostly?
I'll ask point certain situations or lead me somewhere. I haven't used them as much lately because I'm a recorder type of guy.
Okay. Yeah, I use them a lot for the yes, no answers, but I also use them for directional, where they're located in the room. Because what I do is I try to be respectable, respect the other side, and ask them to show me where you're at so I can face you properly when I'm asking you a question. And a lot of times when we do that, Larry will come in with a SLS camera, and sure enough, he'll pick them up.
All right. I never really thought about that, but that makes sense. Respect.
Give him a good example of that one, Spanky, and you know where I'm talking about.
Which Miami. One? We've had a bunch.
Miami.
Oh, that just gave me chills, Larry.
You got to tell the story now.
Presidential car.
Well,
there's a train museum down in Miami.
Gold Coast Train Museum.
And they have this presidential car there. And I was doing dowsing rods. And Larry was... Go ahead, Larry.
Yeah, no, I'm going to have you tell the story, but I want to give a good background here. One of the cars they have there was built in the 40s by the Secret Service for President Roosevelt. And it was how he got across the country. It was the original Air Force One, if you want to think of it that way. And after Roosevelt used it, and then Truman used it, Eisenhower used it, it sat idle until Ronald Reagan used it in 1984 for his cross-country re-election campaign. So the only and this thing is heavy. When we had the 04 the hurricanes in Hurricane Andrew, whatever year that was, the entire place was destroyed. But this car is so heavy because it's so armored, stayed right where it was when everything else fell apart. So it's an armored car, and it sits there. The only people that have used it, Roosevelt, Truman, Eisenhower, and then Reagan for his cross-country re-election. And it sits there as part of their display. And we were in it, and I'll let you take it from here, Spank.
And we were doing dowsing rods, and we were doing the ghost box too.
We were doing the ghost box, but it was the rods and the SLS that really.
Yeah. I asked to point to where you were at in the room because we were asking questions. I'm not going to tell them who it is yet.
Okay.
And I pointed to this section, and Larry took the SLS camera, and sure enough, that's where he was sitting.
No, that wasn't SLS. The rods pointed to the chair.
Yeah.
And then you asked if his wife, since you don't want to get over, is your wife here too? And you asked the wife's name, and it pointed to the chairs right across the way. Then I brought the SLS camera because it was Shelley that was using the rods.
Okay. And it was one of those times where you just can't believe who you're talking to. We were under the impression we were talking to President Reagan and his wife. And I'll let Larry take it from there because it was so pretty.
Spanky was asking a lot of the questions. He said, Larry, go get the SLS camera, which I did. I brought it in there. And like I said, we were sitting there, and Shelley, one of our teammates, in fact, I think you talked to Shelley, Ryan. She's sitting there, and she's holding the rods, and Spanky's asking the questions. We went through this president. First of all, we went to, are you a member of the staff here? No. Are you a member of the presidential staff? No. Are you a president? Yes. Are you President Roosevelt? No. Eisenhower? No. Truman? No. Eisenhower? No. President Reagan? It went yes. So we start talking, and he said, Spanky, can you show us where you're sitting? And the rods very, very smoothly went right to the chair in that part of the car. Ask a few more questions. Spanky asks, Mrs. Reagan, Nancy, are you here? Yes. Where are you sitting? Rods go right over here. At this point, I go get the SLS camera, and I get there. Now, she is sitting up against a flat wall. There's nothing on it that it can map. It's flat. But a stick figure appears, and we ask her, this figure, to move, and it does. And we ask it to reach down and touch Shelley, which it does. And then Spanky says, Larry, and because he's watching the camera, her earrings moving. And sure enough, as we look closer, Shelley's wearing two dangling earrings. Yep. The left one's going back and forth right where the hand of the stick figure was. Now, I'm just telling you what happened. Yeah. The other earring wasn't moving a bit. Now, think about that for a second. If she's moving her head, they're both moving. One stationary, one going back and forth. Right where the stick figure's hand was. Just tell me what happened. Go ahead, Spank. What were you going to say?
No, that was the whole place, and we went into a medical car and a couple other cars, and also we break our team up into groups, 2 groups usually, maybe 3, depending on the venue. We broke it up into 2 groups that night, and there was 3 ladies in that car when we weren't in there, and they were sitting on the floor because you can't sit on any of the furniture or anything like that. So they were sitting on the floor. They said the floor, actually, it felt like the train was moving.
Vibrating, yeah.
It was vibrating. There was nothing around. That car is so heavy, it's not moving.
Right.
And they said it felt like it was moving.
And we heard from the folks there that other investigators have had that same reaction. So it was kind of cool. But the rods and the SLS camera are particularly interesting in that case.
And be fair with you, Ryan, not every investigation's a success.
No.
We did one of the most popular places here in Florida, the lighthouse in St. Augustine.
Yeah.
We had it for our team for the whole night.
Nothing.
Well, the whole grounds,
everywhere. The what's it called?
The station, the house, the lightkeeper's house, the lighthouse itself, all the grounds, all the property on there. Yeah.
We went up in the lighthouse. We had equipment everywhere trying to get anything. What a bust. Now,
Yeah, we've been there before and had things, or I've been there before and had things happen.
I was just going to say, now individually, we've been to these places and we've gotten things. But that night, they just did not want to communicate, or we didn't. And one of the things too, I think too, with teams and people in general, you have to have a positive energy going into these events.
Thank you.
How do you feel about that, Ryan?
I'm all about positive energy. That is what protects me, my faith and positive energy. I tell everybody, if you go in with negative energy, you may not get anything. And if you do get something, it's probably not going to be good.
Yeah.
So
well, we do a prayer of protection at the beginning of each investigation and a prayer again before we leave. So
all right, I got someone asked a question. I want to get this in. It's Kyla Sanders. I work with her. So I'll pop this up real quick. Since you guys are a big group and have done this for a long time, maybe you can answer this.
how would you suggest this? Okay.
Very good question.
You want to take it, Spank?
I'll let you go first.
All right. Okay. For starters, read and listen. Do not watch a couple of TV shows and just start going out and doing it, because you need to do some study. There's plenty of books out there that you can read. There's stuff on even YouTube you can look at. So when you start out new, make sure you have some knowledge. One of the biggest problems I've seen with investigators is they get all the equipment with the fancy lights and it makes all the cool noises, and they don't have a clue how it works or why it works or what the theories are behind it. Know your equipment, understand how it works, what they can and what they cannot do. Second thing of all, don't get too excited with yourself. Don't, just kind of relax. Now, how do you find a different group? I ran the police academy in this region for a number of years. And what I would tell my recruits is you find an agency that fits your personality. No different here. If you're an individual that absolutely believes in one thing and you get into a group that most of them have a totally different philosophy, you will not find satisfaction, happiness, and you might even just say the heck with it all. So, check with some teams that are looking for members, and I'll get to that part of it in a second. And then talk with them a little bit, maybe go on some investigations with them. Most of the folks on my team, I've gotten to know because they've come to our events. Spanky's a great example of that. Some events I was doing, and almost everybody on my team know me from either tours or events. Yes, Spank, go ahead.
Except for one. Shelly.
Oh, Shelly. Oh, that's right.
How we met Shelly is she has a local business where I live. I actually live in Okeechobee, Florida, right at the top of the lake. And I went to her business because I had to get glasses. And I walked in one day and the hair just rose up on my arms. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? And I had been going there a few years. And I asked her mom, who works there also and owns the place, I said, have you ever had anything strange happen here? She goes, what are you talking about? I said, just hair rose up on my arms. She goes, oh, yeah. And then she just started telling me these stories and everything. And her husband had just passed too. And so I got talking to Shelly, and next thing you know, we're investigating the place. So we investigated. She seemed interested in our team in the field, and we did a couple of more sites or events or whatever you want to call them, and she fit the team, so she joined our team, and that's how that worked out.
Because her personality fits. So I forget the young lady that we're answering for. Find a group that has a similar belief or outlook that you do. Now, how do you find these teams? Tough. A lot of teams are very clannish. Some just don't have enough openings. Like right now, we don't have any openings on our team because we want to keep ours at a certain size. But be persistent. Find a group that does maybe some public events and go to their event. Get to know them, get talking to them. Maybe ask them, hey, do you have guest investigators come along? I'd just like to see what it's like. If they're a good group and a group that is really open, they'll probably 8 times out of 10, they'll say, yeah, we'll see what we can do. And they'll bring you on as a guest, maybe. Do that with a couple of groups if you're able to. And then just wait for an opening and let them know you're interested. But it's tough to find them. I'm going to be upfront with you too. There's a lot of people that have tried to get with our group that, well, for starters, if you've got a background that is a little bit unsavory, we're not, I'm not going to bring you into the group because I've got other retired cops and stuff on my team. And we're kind of particular in that sense, but we're willing to listen. And that's what you got to find is somebody that fits your personality, is open to having other folks come in. And the only way to do that is to keep trying, just keep plugging. So,
yeah. And if you do any of the, for any of the tours or anything like that, study and listen to see how the people that are running it,
yeah, good question,
how they're coming across to you, and that might lead to an opening for you.
Right. I mean, I agree with you. I mean, it's okay to have different opinions in a group. I mean, it's good to have little different opinions in a group.
Orbs or no orbs.
I mean, my group is about 7 people right now. I mean, usually I go out by myself with other groups. That's just the way, because I said life happens. But they also know it's my group, so I'm pretty strict. Mm-hmm. I have a couple of rules. You don't fake evidence.
Well, yeah.
And no drama. I hate drama. So any of those, I'm not a baseball team. 1 strike, you're out. Especially if you fake evidence. I don't really care.
Yes, yeah. There's nothing to do there.
So I mean, you just go out there again, just like friends, just like when you're a kid trying to pick a college. You go there, you get a feeling. You're gonna know right away if it's the right fit or not. So you just go out there.
But just don't jump into it because you want to do something. You find a group that fits your personality.
Yeah, because if you jump right in, it could ruin your whole experience and you never want to do it again.
Exactly.
And with social media now, the last thing you want to have your name dragged through mud for no reason at all. So Kayla's actually going out with us on her might be her first investigation. I'm not sure. Madison Seminary coming up in November, so it'll be fun. But
good luck.
That's what my group does. My group was based off giving people the experience.
Mm-hmm.
Because you watch on TV. I'm not saying I'm an expert because none of us are experts, but I've done investigations.
You said there were experts. I heard you earlier. I'm just kidding.
Oh, I'm not an expert. There are experts out there. I'm just not an expert.
I'm just kidding with you. I'm playing with you.
But I have the equipment. I've done it before, so I invite new people out to Madison Seminary. We do investigations.
We bring guests fairly often on our team too.
Sorry. She says she's done tours, but not investigations before. Super excited to check it out.
Good.
All right, so spirits, let's talk about it. A lot of people that have not done investigations before, new people, they watch TV, they're scared. I believe 95% of spirits, probably higher percentage, are just spirits that want to communicate. They're not evil. They're not demonic. I hate that word. You're never going to go to a pay-to-play place and find demonic entity. That's my theory, because demonic entities have to break you down. And with new people going there every day, they're not going to sit there and try to break every single one down. It takes months to break you down. So demonic, no. Assholes, yes. You will find asshole spirits.
Yes.
That's common. Spanky knows there are asshole spirits out there. You are a spirit the way you were in real life.
Yep.
Oh, you're in trouble, Spanky. You're in trouble.
We have one at one specific venue that we use for dinner and ghost hunt. He doesn't like ladies behind the bar, so he likes to pull hair.
Yep.
He's done that, what, 4 or 5 times at least, Larry?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's something else. And I'll cuss you out in a minute.
Can I ask you a question, Ryan?
Yeah.
Do you believe that venues, let's just, you said you went to Trans-Allegheny, you've investigated there. Big, well-known place, lots of groups want to go there. Do you believe places like that, for lack of a better term, can be fished out?
You know, that's the topic that's been brought up, and my mind has been changing. A lot of people say it's been fished out, way too many people. But what do we bring into every location that we go to? Energy.
Mm-hmm.
So is it possible that we're bringing more energy into those places? Now, I have Madison Seminary down the road. That's the only haunted location that gets investigated around. Now, if you are a spirit next door to me and you want to be heard, where are you going to go? Madison Seminary. So are they going to these places to be heard? Because spirits want to be communicate. So is it possible that they know that that's the hot spot where people are asking questions? That's why spirits always change at these locations, because they just want to
They
be
are
heard.
transitory. They are transitory.
Yeah. So, I mean, Trans-Allegheny, I love Trans-Allegheny. That's one of my favorite places to investigate.
Mm-hmm.
I've been there twice. But, I mean, it's just unbelievable atmosphere. Owners do a great job.
Do you think that the spirits there, and I hear what you're saying about the energy, but do you think that the possibility exists that they're like, again, I really don't want to talk to you guys tonight? And because
all the same stupid questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you get sick of it.
Absolutely.
I mean, if I just came into your house every day and say, "What's your name?"
Yeah.
Would you boot me? Would you boot me out?
Absolutely. Well,
or would you get pissed?
Well, that too. Now that we think that's what basically was happening at the lighthouse in St. Augustine on that cold. For us, it was cold. What was it, about 35, 40 degrees?
28.
Was it that cold? Oh, okay.
Hey, cold. That's short weather still.
Oh, man. Not for us Florida boys and girls. Anyway, we think that's what happened there that night. And I've often wondered if sometimes, because I don't believe if it is truly spirits that are on the other side, they're not circus animals that come out on our command.
No.
They're not going to perform because we're telling them to. And I think sometimes they just say, I'm not interested.
I mean, look at this. I mean, how many times, I mean, it doesn't happen often, but it does when you get a phone call and you recognize the name. I just don't feel like talking today.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Spanky
does
that to me all the time when I call.
I knew that.
Or he says he's got to do is he can't talk. He's got to wash his hair or something.
Yeah.
I mean, it also depends who's going in there to investigate too. What energy are you bringing into?
And the positive, that's where the positive comes in. You were talking about.
Yeah. And also, I'm a big believer in women versus men too. You know, when we're not getting great results, I'll split the women and men up. Mm-hmm. Because some places women get more interaction than men do, and vice versa. Mm-hmm. So if we're not getting a lot of stuff as a group, I'll send 2 women up to the attic. Hey, go see what you can get. And they get a lot more. Because some spirits are like, hey, ladies, let's go. Mm-hmm. Or, oh man, it's these dudes again. I'm gonna go hide in this, room over here. I don't want to talk to them. So okay. I think you got, in any investigation, you got to keep trying different stuff and see what happens.
And I think it comes down to just being able to have a conversation with the person, just like we're having here.
Right.
You need to just introduce yourself like we do. We always introduce ourselves and just talk. Not this question, have them a script going. Just try to have a conversation with them.
Right.
And it seems like it plays out better that way.
What we've been doing lately, I mean, I've been doing this a while now, but for the last 6-8 months is don't talk to the spirits. if you have a group, talk about how it would be living in that place at that time as a group. You're not asking questions. Be like, hey, dude, I mean, I cannot believe they lived here. Like, it kind of been cool, back in the 1950s. And, just have a conversation. How would it be living there as you? And it seems to get a lot more responses off the equipment that way.
And we've done that to a point, a little bit.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah.
So that's a cool idea. Now, here's another question for you, Ryan. We've got a school. Yeah, I flipped the script.
Yeah, flipping this on you, Ryan.
We've got an old school. It's in Felsman, that tiny little town out west, built in 1916. Never tragedy there. Never, no child has ever died there. Nothing's ever occurred there where a child has died. Yet we have ample pieces of evidence that place is filled with kids. Why are there kids there if nobody's ever had a tragedy there? What's your opinion?
So I believe spirits always go back to the place that they're most comfortable with.
Boom. He's right on course with us there. Yep.
All right. So, I mean, if that was their favorite place, and we can go back to like haunted objects, pianos, desk. Why would a piano be the most haunted? Be attached to by a spirit, because that's where they were their happiest time, is when they were creating that music. Maybe they had something on the side that when they played that piano, it made them forget about real life. That was their happiest moment. Just like death, when people were writing books, that was their happiest time. That took them out of reality of what is going around in their life. So when you pass, you're going to go back to your happiest, most comfortable place.
That's as you were at the same age. Yeah.
Now, with that being said, say you passed away at 60 years old. How does that energy go back to 6 years old?
I mean, we always talked about your mind is your most powerful thing.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I know a lot of 6-year
energy here now. We said spirits were energy, and
I know a lot of 6-year-olds that have a 6-year-old mind, dude. I mean, so
hey, I know a 67-year-old with a 6-year-old mind. but I think this is just my opinion. I think you're putting the spirit realm into a pigeonhole here. If it's a spirit, if it's ethereal energy, then it goes back to the way it was, where it was, how it was. It doesn't have to look like we do now.
Right.
So that's my thinking on it.
I mean, if I die, do I want to look like this? No. Overweight, balding? No, I don't want to look like this. I want to go back to when I was my prime. So I mean,
and there's lots of evidence, for lack of a better term, or stories of that, where people have seen loved ones died, but they looked like they did when they were in their 30s when the spirit came back. So I don't know that really you're stuck with the body, for lack of, or the visual effects that you have when you passed. I think that can be changed because it's just energy.
I mean, think about like 100-year-old that's dying in pain, whatever they're dying from, cancer, failure, do they die and have to stay in their same form and live that? Or are they going to go back to where they were the most?
Bad news for you, Spanky, if that's the case.
I hate to change the topic, but he hit on something that struck me that I remember. Remember, Larry, do you remember Arcadia?
Yeah.
Okay. We were in what Opera House is it?
Opera House, yeah.
Opera House in Arcadia, Florida. At the time, it was kind of like a flea market, for a better term. And they had this whole room with pictures in it, paintings, not photographs, but paintings. This whole room, floor to ceiling. And my wife and I were in there, and we were using equipment to detect electrical energy. Well, came upon one picture, went by it, nothing. Came back to it, they're spiking again. Went away from it, nothing. Came back to it, spiking. So I got dowsing rods out and started talking, asking questions. And it wasn't a picture of anybody here. It was like an English picture of two small boys, which was, you know, out of the realm for the whole place. But it was like, it was their picture. And I believe they were attached to it. And that's why I do believe there's objects that can have attachments to them, and you can bring them into your own property.
Right.
And you got to be careful of that.
I mean, yeah, I mean, that picture could have meant something to them. We don't know. I mean,
Right.
is it possible those two boys actually painted that picture when they were older?
Exactly.
You know, it
But
is
my
possible.
thing is, what if somebody buys that painting, takes it home, and now they start having things happen?
I mean, they're there with the picture. I
Yeah.
mean, so I mean,
But it could be
what's
good
the
things.
it
Good
could be good things. What's the harm of two spirits living out their spiritual world with this painting? You know,
Mhm.
I mean, you gotta be careful attachments. I don't have attachment. I mean, someone said attachment, my grandfather, but I think he's just looking out for me. I don't think he's an attachment. I think he just looks out for
Right.
me.
Yeah.
And you talked about attachments before, and I've heard people had attachments too. Like, I don't know how I feel about all that stuff, but
Yeah.
you know, my big belief is that anybody attaches to me, they're gonna go back to where they came from because no one wants to live my life. You know, no one wants to work 60 hours a week. You know, they're gonna be like, yeah, I'm going back to asylum. So I mean, it's
But
rough. I
here's
mean, we
Now,
want to believe, right?
yeah.
We want to believe that we're gonna go to our happy place, where stuff didn't hurt, where we weren't in pain, because that's what happens when majority of people die. They're in pain, and you know that's what we want to believe the best is going to happen. Why aren't they moving on?
Mhm.
I have no idea.
But see,
Yeah.
this goes back to the whole foundation of where we started at. Nobody knows for sure the whys.
Well, someone does. There's a lot out there that do. They're just not sharing it, man. Come on, you know that. Spanky knows everything. He's just not sharing it with you. I can
Oh,
see in his eyes. He knows the truth.
I see my wife just commented.
That's the one who really wears the pants in that family. Don't let him fool you.
That's
All right, another question by Kayla. She always asks unbelievable questions here. So,
Or they're feeding energy off of you. Yeah, Kayla, I think that's actually a pretty insightful comment. I think it could be that they, that's right, Tina, I did get that right. I think it's Chris. We'll go back to Chris for a second. He says that it's almost like it's a moth to a flame. When it's happening with him, they just all come because they know that they can't communicate with him. So I think that's definitely part of what you're saying there is if they feel they can communicate through you or they can make contact through you or you can somehow feel that they're there. Yeah, I think they would be more likely to attach to you. But bear something in mind. They're transient. They don't stay in one place. Just because the person in this house had somebody that died in it, it doesn't mean that's the person that's even haunting. It could be somebody else. So they're transient, but I'm sure when they find you, if they're, in my opinion only, if they feel like they can communicate through you or get word through you somehow, yeah, they'll attach. Go ahead, Spanky. I can see your.
Yeah, I was reading her question again, and on the one time that I did have an attachment, I think it was because he felt threatened by my presence there and communicating with the others. And he was trying to get my energy, lower my energy from talking to them.
Yeah. Because there's something out there that can snatch your energy or drain your energy.
Right.
I'd be more worried about that.
Kind of like a jealous husband kind of thing. Because I was talking, let's just say I was talking to his wife and he didn't want me to, and he was trying to drain me of my energy from talking to her.
Right. I mean, I was at that hotel also, and I did the same thing. Maybe not what you did. I go a little extreme. Like, I did ask if the ladies of the night wanted a new pimp, and they said yes. So I declared myself the new, and I gave them freedom. And I never got anything from him. Maybe I was too aggressive at that time. Maybe he backed down. Or maybe he was attached to you at the time.
Maybe he was with me when you went
yeah,
there.
maybe he was with you. But I mean, I'm like, I when I go into a place and it's disrespected to women, it upsets me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's one my more aggression. I do not like provoking, but when you start disrespecting women, I will step up to the plate. I have no issue with that. Again, my positivity and my belief is what protects me. And it's worked so far, and it will continue to work. So I have no issue stepping up to the plate. And Madison Seminary, attic, very bad toward women. The stuff, the history up there and what happened up there. You send 2 females up there, 3 females up there, bad stuff is going to happen to them.
Yeah.
And I always go up after and I call them out. And till recently, they back down.
Yeah.
Now they're starting to be a little more aggressive toward me. I don't know what's changed up there. I did a solo up there, kind of a little aggressive toward me. So I'm doing a solo there in December for 8-10 hours. I'm going by myself, the whole place 10 hours. I think it's time for me and these spirits to have a little one-on-one. Again, I am there to find answers. Why are you doing this? Why are you picking on women and not men? But the thing about Madison, there's so many spirits there. You can go to one room and have the nicest conversation. You go up to the attic and feel bad. You go to the Civil War section, have a great conversation. And that's why I love Madison Seminary. It's a huge place that has a lot of different spirits. So if you guys ever come up, look me up. I take you to Madison.
All right. Okay. We're going to hold you to that.
Yeah.
Road trip.
Road trip.
They just, I missed the last road trip.
Yes, you did. We were up at Savannah, investigated the Savannah Theater, the oldest operating theater in the country. Great people. Mike and, oh my gosh, his girlfriend's name just went right out of my head. Oh, I am embarrassed now, but they're great folks. Savannah Theater, investigated. It's a great place.
Okay. So I thought about coming down to Florida because I've been, as I said, I had a paranormal debate before. So, I mean, I got to do my Scotland trip next year first, but Florida, Robert the Doll. What are your thoughts?
Have not been there. I don't know.
Down in the Keys.
Yeah.
A lot of hype.
Hype.
Worse
than Annabelle?
Well, in fact, I think Annabelle's more of a hype. That's not fair. I have not spent enough time looking into it to really make a comment. That's really not fair on my part. But I'm not sure. I'll leave it at that. I'm not sure about it.
Right.
Myself.
Unknown. So, I mean, it's Robert Dahl's story intrigues me.
The whole story. Yeah.
The whole story behind it. Yeah. Now, if there was a haunted doll, which is not haunted, it's an attachment to a doll, that would be it.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, plus it's in a fort. You can investigate the whole place. I mean, we talked about going to places and not getting anything.
Mm-hmm.
But to be in those places and the history of those places is worth the trip itself, even if you don't get any paranormal experience.
That's how I felt about Savannah too. That place is great. Courtney and Mike, those are the two.
And that's one thing with Larry. When you come on to the team, you better be ready for history. Because if you don't have the history, what are you doing? You need to know something about the place, the surroundings, the time periods, and all those we try to do backgrounds on places we go to before we go there, so we can get some trigger words, know some of the people that were actually there, and those kind of things. And even on his tours that he does on the beach and stuff, it's a good history tour. And a lot of people, even if they don't get anything, they've learned something that night.
And I think it's important, though. We're not interested in somebody sees a ghost on the banister. That's not the kind of history we're talking about.
Right.
We're talking about who lived there. So that if we hear the name Jezebel, well, we knew who Jezebel was. She was one of the people that lived here. I mean, that's the type of history we really want to make sure we know.
Okay, so I do it different, especially places that are 6 hours, 7 hours away from me. I don't do history before I go.
Mm-hmm.
All right, because we talked about the mind before, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think you can be influenced. And everybody's heard EVPs. If you know a name, you're going to hear that through EVP. So what I do is I go in there blind.
Mm-hmm.
Then I do the history after to make sure I was not influenced.
Well, I guess that's the cop in me or the detective in me.
Yeah.
Before I do an interview with you, I'm going to know everything I want to know about you before I interview. And maybe also the fact that, I don't feel like I'm influenced like that to hear things. I'm a big, once again, not which ghosts are seen necessarily,
right?
But I do want to know the history of the place. I think it's just a tomato type.
No, I mean, no, I understand. I think it goes both ways with investigators.
Mm-hmm.
Like me, I always tell owners, they're like, do you want a tour? I never take a tour of the place before I do investigation. I said no. I always say no. And they're like, why? I'm like, because if I get stuff, I'm going to go back and research it. Then I'm coming back. So you're going to get me twice. I'm going to rent this place out twice. So you get 2 for 1. So business wise, it's a smart decision for you because I'm going to rent the place out twice. But I'm not the type of person that's going to go investigate. Oh, I got Sarah. Okay, Sarah lives here. Then leave it alone. No, I'm going to do research.
Mm-hmm.
And if I find something, I'm going to go back. Now I got the history to it. Now I'm going to go back and try to get more answers.
Okay. That's style, and you can't argue with that at all.
No, and I always send one person in solo before we go. And it's not to investigate. I've done it a few places. I sent my brother in. Go walk around this place. Tell me what you feel. You're not investigating. Tell me the bad feeling spots or the spots you think your spirits are. And it gives an opportunity, because we do a Facebook Live, opportunity for people to go in that are watching Facebook and see the place. Because we can't get everywhere. There's too many haunted places in America. Mm-hmm. So it gives an opportunity for people like you, like Bill Manor. Like, oh, I heard of Bill Manor. It looks cool. It's up by Toledo. But it'll give you opportunity to see the place. So, and maybe it could draw some people to that place. But I mean, he goes in and he didn't want to go in the basement, but he did. He walked down there. He doesn't investigate. He comes up. He's like, that basement fell off. Or I send people in Madison in the attic. Just walk down there. I won't tell you what 2 rooms that are freaky as hell. I've been there 16 times, and those 2 rooms still freak me out. And they'll come back, and I'm like, don't say anything. I'll send someone else down. Come back. Okay, write down which rooms. And they always write down the same rooms. So
we do something a little similar. I knew you were waiting for that.
Yeah.
We do a thing called quiet time. And before the investigation begins, the team spreads out to different areas in the venue. And 10, 15 minutes, nobody talks, nobody moves around. Everybody's got a piece of paper, and you just sit there and you drink in the venue. And whatever comes to your mind, you write down. Don't care how crazy it is. Just comes and you write it down. And we collect those pieces of paper. And at the end of the investigation, I'll read what everybody's written down. And you'd be shocked how often somebody has had a thought, a feeling, they heard something that connected with the investigation. But that's how we do it. We go in and we call it quiet time. We just sit there and listen for 10, 15 minutes and just get the energy of the place.
I mean, it's amazing, like how much you can hear and feel when you I don't call it quiet time. I call it the shut the F up time. But I'm like, just sit.
You're a very sensitive guy, aren't you, Ryan? Just very sensitive. I can tell.
I'm a ginger. I mean, it happens. But I'm like, Trans-Allegheny, like people always want to go to hot spots. I'm like, just go sit in a hallway and be quiet.
Sure.
Yeah.
How much you will get of just being quiet and listening to the environment around you. We've had some great EVPs from us not even talking. And you can do that any place. Like people want to talk all the time. People want to be heard. And all you hear is like, you guys go over recordings. Like I've gone over recordings. I'm like, dude, shut up. Like I'm trying to like, you hear EVPs over, underneath other people talking. It's like, dude, just shut up for once. I want to hear this. But I mean, different types of investigations. Like you can go in there and start talking, or you can go in there and just be quiet and see what happens.
Agreed.
And one of the things when we're doing EVPs is you ask the question, you got to wait at least 30 to 60 seconds before you start the next question.
Yes.
Because you got to give them a chance to respond.
Yeah. Again, it takes energy, right? They have to build up that energy. And I think a lot of people are starting to do that now, which is great.
Yeah.
All right. So bucket list places. I'll give you 2 places each if you can go investigate. It doesn't have to be haunted. Just you want to go investigate or you believe it's haunted.
The Jedburgh Jail in northern England.
Okay.
And I'd like to go to Mansfield Reformatory. I've never been there. Oh, that's right. Just pull the plug out on me there.
I've been there twice. But again, people have great experiences there. Maybe they just don't like soulless gingers there. I don't know. That's why they don't talk to me. All right, Spanky, you're up.
I got one that we were going to go to, but things just did not work out. What was it? Goldfield Hotel?
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'd add that. I'd add that. Hey, cross out Mansfield, Goldfield Hotel.
Yeah.
That was it.
Is that the one across from Wisher Club?
Yes, it's actually
Nevada.
It's in Nevada.
It's in Nevada. Yeah.
Yeah, you get Goldfield and you get the Wishy Club across the street or catty corner.
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. And there's just so many places here, and anywhere you go.
Yeah.
We try to go out of state once a year, and you're gonna laugh, but I would like to go back to the Mayberry Campground in Mount Dora, North Carolina.
Not Mount Dora. Mount.
No,
Rocky. Mount Dora's in Florida.
You're right.
Rocky Mount? Was it Rocky Mount?
No, it's Mount.
It's right near
Mount Airy. Mount Airy.
That's right.
Mount Airy. Because in that campground, do you remember the Siamese twins, the famous Siamese twins from back in the day?
Mm-hmm.
That's where they lived.
Okay.
And the family that runs the campground are descendants. And while we were camping there, after going to, where was that in West Virginia?
Lake Shawnee campground, Lake Shawnee amusement park, abandoned amusement
park. Yeah.
Yeah, we did that. And then when we left there, we went camping. And we were able to get into this house where they lived. The thing about the twins was they were both married. The Siamese twins were married to sisters. And one had, I think it was 6 kids, one had 5 kids. And they'd go from one house to the other house every other day. And that's how they lived. And that place had some activity.
Well, yeah, but not activity we can talk about on a show.
No.
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 No, it had paranormal activity. I'm just teasing this, man.
No, I mean,
but it's funny. You go to any small town, there's some kind of haunted area.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody's putting on a tour.
Which is great nowadays because people are more open to it. And back in the day, they weren't open to it. They didn't want to talk about it. But now they're more open. So we're finding all these new places, which is great.
Yeah. But then there's still the people that say no.
Oh, yeah. But it is what it is. I was going to ask you, obviously you gave your answer, right? Is there any place that actually draws you back?
Draws me back.
The old school in Fellsmere will always draw me back, as does Waldo's Secret Garden. That's local stuff for us, but we've just had so much happen there. They keep drawing me back. We're not done yet. We've got so many more questions to answer in those places, but
yeah. I would like to go back up to that. I talked about it earlier. Is it still the museum? The one in Sebastian? I forgot his name now. The treasure hunter.
Mel Fisher. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mel Fisher's museum
is
an old firehouse.
Yep.
So you got the things that are attached to the gold and everything they have in there, but also the firehouse. There's 3 or 4 firemen there.
Yeah, we actually got an EVP that said, is there anybody here with us? And we got, I'm a fireman on an EVP, which is pretty cool.
So if you guys do come out to Mansfield, I believe, I've not investigated there, but I know people do. There's a firehouse museum right by too that you can investigate.
There you go, Spank.
There you
go. That's pretty good. So if I don't know the name of it, if you guys come up, just let me know. I can find out the information for that because I know a couple of people that have done it. So I don't know if it's like exclusive. You need to know somebody, or I'm not sure yet. I do know.
Say we know you. We'll just say we know you, Ryan, and
that probably won't count.
No,
maybe the Fire Brotherhood will help me.
Yeah. So Tina says she wishes she goes back to Hinsdale House.
Yeah, Hinsdale. Well, I'd go. That's a great place. Hinsdale House. I would recommend that to anybody.
And Larry, you said one thing that stuck with me just recently. Like, you're not done with that place yet. And that's what I love. So many investigators want to hit every single place. You investigate, you did it, you move on. But you said that couple of those places that you're not done with, your local places, because there are more answers. That's why we're there, to get answers.
Yep.
And I love that because that's why we do this, to get answers. We're not out there trying to make TikTok videos. I've been to 500 different places, but you got no answers. Sweet. Great. Move on. But keep investigating your local. I mean,
speaking of that, Ryan, your local place that you've been talking about, has it ever gone like hot and cold with you?
Yes. I've been there 16 times in 19 years. Recently, I've been going 2 or 3 times a year. And people argue this. When it is cold up here, it is more active.
Okay.
I'm talking cold. I'm not talking your 40-degree cold down in Florida here. I'm talking.
Hey, be nice.
I did a Estes method one time. I was in there for an hour and a half, hour 40 minutes. I look at my spirit box. It was like 12 degrees. Yeah. And I'm like, but it is so much. And I've done experiments. I've gone in the summer when it's really hot, not that active. Still activity, but not that active. You go in the winter.
That's interesting. That's interesting. See, that's the type of data I like.
Yeah.
That's the type of data I'm looking for. That's something you can put your fingers on. I like that.
And do you do anything with the humidity and all that kind of stuff and thunderstorms and?
The only thing with thunderstorms, I don't use a tripwire. I don't use EMF.
Yeah. No, we do.
Well,
Before, go ahead. I'm sorry.
When EMF is going crazy, like my tripwire is going off the whole thing, I'll look at the lightning map. Okay, there's a lightning storm 30 miles away. It'll set those off. So you gotta be careful about that too. So
yeah, I take all the weather conditions, the temperature, humidity, barometer, the whole 9 yards, and the solar weather is all documented into each of our investigations. Hopefully, trying to find some cooperation there between things.
see, I don't know because we were at Bel Air House and it was like 100 degrees in there, even though they had air conditioning, which I don't think worked. I mean, we sweated bad and it was very active. Then we went back in the fall and not that active. So I don't know if it's location to location. I don't know. I mean, something you get, like you said, keep track of it. Every location can be different, but if you're going to go back to those locations, find out when the most active is.
Let me ask you this, Ryan. Was there different foot traffic? You probably wouldn't know because you're not there all the time. Is there different foot traffic going at different periods of time too?
Wintertime, a lot less because it's so cold.
And that's why it might have been more active.
It is possible. I mean, I like going in the winter. First of all, it's cheaper because no one wants to go there.
Yeah.
And second of all, I don't mind the cold. There's nothing wrong with going investigating for an hour and a half, coming back, having some hot chocolate. It's not a race. People want to investigate and they want to run through these places as fast as possible. And I used to do that. I used to go to a huge place, run through it all. We have it till 7 a.m. and it's midnight. I'm done. Like, oh, what do I do now? So take your time when you're investigating. But it is possible. It could be foot traffic also.
Because one thing we found out, the one venue that we use, there was let me just say a club that was in the bottom part of this place, and they moved to another building. It got quiet. We didn't have nothing for 2 or 3 months, maybe. It just got quiet. And then we started hearing that at the new building, they were having things happen over there.
Talking about the Boys and Girls Club?
Yeah.
It's possible.
So I think it might have a little to do with foot traffic too, and people's interaction.
Right. I mean, I think a lot of it goes into it, and I don't know if we'll ever get all the data. Maybe someone will start doing that. Maybe we just start doing more of it, like foot traffic. Read your group, positive energy, negative energy. How many people are there? Humidity, temperature. I mean, that's a lot of data to put in one place. But
oh yeah,
we do it every time though.
Yeah, and if more people like you out there are doing it all the time, maybe composite something, and maybe we can say, hey.
There you go.
It is possible.
One of our people commented, "Too cold for Tom."
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some people that won't go investigate with me in the winter.
I believe that.
I mean, I don't.
Larry, your hand up. We were like, when we were in Lake Shawnee, it was so cold.
God, it was cold.
And Larry was in a tent and another guy was in a tent. I invited him into the RV. It was just so damp and cold. It was miserable.
Yeah, it was cold.
But one thing at Lake Shawnee that I want to mention, Larry, is when we were breaking down,
Yeah.
and I took 3 photographs.
Oh yeah. The abandoned Ferris wheel had the strangest light coming from the sky.
It was
And
the moon. Had
was-
the moon. I wanted to get a bullseye picture of the moon with the Ferris wheel. So I took 3 pictures. In those 3 pictures, first one, it was a little off center. So I took the second one to get that moon right in the middle of it. When I did, there was a white light on this side, on our side, that went to the sky with a black funnel at the end.
Black funnel. In the sky, there were no clouds in the sky that night, but in the photograph, you clearly see a black funnel and this light coming down and attaching to the moon. It was the weirdest thing. Nobody's been able to figure that one out yet. I mean, you could say that it was the camera moving, but you can't explain that little funnel up there. That was weird.
Right.
So anyway,
I think my wife's getting the picture right now.
Well,
yeah, we're going this weekend coming up. I'm going to Indiana for a 2-night investigation, and it's supposed to be like 90 degrees, and we're camping, so it's going to be hot.
Too much of a player.
Yeah, see, if you look at the picture itself, you could easily explain it that it's the camera dragging the light of the moon, but the light is on this side side of the Ferris wheel. But up at the very, very top, you can't. You can see it a little bit. There's this funnel, this black funnel.
Yeah,
I've never seen anything like it in my life. Go ahead.
No, Al My Paranormal asked, did you camp on site at Lake Shawnee for your order?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we had some pretty good experiences, including Tom was our video guy. Tom was filming it, and he turned away. And just as he turned away, we had a K2 meter millimeter.
No, millimeter.
It was a millimeter sitting on a bale of hay. It was solid. It was very, very, very solid. It wasn't moving. And suddenly, just something knocked it and went flying off the top of the hay bale. And Tom just missed it. He moved the camera and he got us all reacting to it, but he missed that part. No offense, Tom. But that was a very, very interesting place. Very, very interesting place. I'd go back, but not in February. Or it was November we went, right?
November.
Yeah, November. I wouldn't do it. It's too cold. Too cold for this.
It's not cold yet in November. I'm here in West Virginia, though. That's cold in West Virginia. So
this is up in the mountains.
I left Toledo in 77 to Florida, and there's a reason for that.
All right. So we're about 2 hours into this bad boy here. So we lasted pretty long. I appreciate both of you coming on. Always, all the podcasts I do, always more questions than answers, just like an investigation.
Yep.
I mean, that's what we want. I tell everybody, keep doing what you're doing, because you guys are doing unbelievable work out there, and hopefully other people follow suit, especially from all your investigations, the data you're collecting, the way your group is. It's unbelievable.
Well, thank you. Yeah, well, invitation's open. You find your way down to Florida, we'll show you some pretty cool spots down here.
Yeah, I mean, I want to get down there. I like the big places, but I love the smaller places better, the unknown places.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah, that's why I want to investigate. Like, it'd be cool to say I want to St. Augustine Lighthouse investigated, but I want to see those places that people really don't know about, that weren't on TV. That's what I want to investigate. So.
Come to the Treasure Coast of Florida. We'll help you out.
All right. I appreciate everybody that jumped on. Kyla, Alma, Tina, Jill. I don't know who else is on here. Everybody else that I forgot. Thanks for your questions. Thanks for jumping on. I'm sure if you have any questions about Florida, you can message me or message Florida International.
Florida Bureau of Investigation. Yeah, you can get us at www.indianriverhauntings.com. Goes to both of our websites, and you can get a hold of me there.
All right. So you got a website. You guys have Facebook. Anything else?
Facebook, yeah. Facebook, we have one for the Florida Bureau of Paranormal Investigation, one for Indian River Hauntings, which is our outreach. That's where I do the tours. And you can also check out a lot of our investigations on YouTube, and the address is the @ Indian River Hauntings 2341, and that you'll find us on YouTube. And we usually put a lot of our investigations up out there, and you can check us out that way.
All right, and I'll throw that on when I post this 2341 in the comments below on YouTube. So again, thanks again, Spanky. Great meeting you.
Thank you.
Larry,
Great meeting you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us on.
All right, take care, and hopefully we meet down the road.
I
Yes,
hope so.
sir.
Take good care, Ryan.
You too. Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.